So it has been over 40 years now that I've owned my GS1100E, and I look back over these 40 years, and it's the story of my life. And some of the rides I've gone on, some of the bikes I've had come and go, some of the ones that are no longer part of my collection, and some of the ones that I've spent a lot of time on and I still have them in the collection. But this one, this is the keeper. This is the keep it until the day you die bike. And I never run into anybody who isn't sorry if they sold it. And it's just uncanny how these bikes stay with you. They have a universal appeal, and they're great on a fall day like today to get out on the open road. Well, now that fall is here finally, I really feel like it is. It's time to start thinking about that winter riding gear, but we still have a couple more nice, I guess they're nice days, these transition days. And we really don't have that many leaves falling yet. So we're really in a transition period, but the whole goal, as always, is to get a ride every single day. Get that exercise in and eat vegetables. And every time I try to think back over the years, and 40 years ago, where was I in my life? What path was I on? And I think about the jobs I was doing, the work I was doing, the bikes I was collecting. My whole career was involved in model airplanes at the time. And some of the adventures I went on with this bike, but it's just hard to describe. When you have a bike 40 years and it's basically your baby, there's a relationship you have that's really special. And in this case, this bike has never disappointed me. That's the one thing. I've never had any major repairs on this bike. I've never had any major problems. I've never been stranded anywhere. And before I go out on any ride, I have to take care of the garden. We got to water things in. Karen has needing some help with the harvest. We've been really harvesting stuff up out of that garden. But it's coming up on the end. Pretty soon we're going to be at the end of this, and it'll be time for the fall riding season.
Okay guys, who's hungry and who wants to go riding? Hungry, riding. Hungry, riding. Hungry, riding.
And one of Karen's favorite things during the winter months, and it's starting to get to be cool here, is tablescapes for our family dinners and family holidays. And today's the first one of the year. Now this really was the first relatively cool day. I mean cool in the morning. I got out early and it was cool. So I was glad I had my my winter leathers on instead of the summer outfit. It was a great choice. Now we had two things we had to deal with today. The Ren Fair is on, which clogs up some of the roads that we normally ride on in this area. So we had to avoid that. And I had heard that this is one of these big bicycle races today. And the GS, just like any air-cooled engine, it loves cool weather. And it was cool this morning. I bet it had at least a couple more extra horsepower for free just from that cold air. So because it was early, the first part of this ride, I didn't see any bicycles, and I thought, oh, great, we beat the system here. And we beat the Ren Fair and the bicycles. But in the end, the bicycles won. And as this day played out, I was really glad I had the new rotors, the EBC rotors, and thank you, Pokey, and the steel brake lines I had gotten from Joe Padula. The braking on this bike is so much better than it was with the old systems and the 40-year-old rubber hoses, and I got to use it a lot today. Now, I had to be real careful. Some of this ride, we had a giant bicycle race going on, and there were just bikes everywhere. And of course we want to share the road, but the problem is sometimes the bicycles, they're riding in the middle of the road, and it's kind of getting narrow there toward the yellow line, and really don't want to cause any accidents. You really have to be careful. So it just was a day you had to be really careful and really cautious, because not only do you have the people that are actually in the race, but there's people just riding even in the opposite direction. Sometimes there's bikes going in both directions. But anyway, it's okay. We're going to share the road and enjoy the rest of the day. And the problem, as always, in this area, there's a lot of blind turns or semi-blind turns. And if there's a bicycle coming the other way, a lot of times they are right up on the yellow line. And even on a day when we're riding with a lot of extra caution, the power band on this engine, just so sweet. Just put it in any gear, let out the clutch, and you're good to go. The power band is what makes this bike so much fun to ride. And as you go north, it just gets cooler and cooler, and it was just so pleasant the whole day. And not only part of the day, the whole day. It really was nice and cool. It never really warmed up in the afternoon, and that was fine with me. I had the winter riding gear on. Very pleasant weather today. Another thing this area is famous for is having deer. There's a lot of deer in this area, so I'm always a little cautious between the bicycles and the deer. But doesn't matter at all. The GS always delivers a beautiful ride. Now, a little thing I was trying to appreciate today, because we haven't had the leaves start to fall yet, and we probably will have a few weeks before we have to start dealing with wet leaves early in the morning and in the shady spots where they never dry out. But for right now, just absolutely perfect. And any day I get out on the GS, anytime I can roll that odometer up and wear out some of those Michelin Commanders, it's got to be a good day. I was just looking at this rock and wondering if you park right underneath it. It looks like that rock could crush the bike. Scary stuff. But whenever they're having one of these big bicycle races around every turn that you can't see totally around a turn, it seems like there's always a bicycle. I don't know how they do that, and we sure as heck don't want to hurt anybody. Now, one of the things that was really handy today, I filled up the gas tank in the morning, and I had a few extra hours during this day. I didn't even have to stop to look for gas. And as many times as I've checked it, it's always between 44 and 45 miles a gallon. And up in this area, yeah, there's gas stations, but not everywhere. Now, it's funny, just when you think you've seen the last of the bicycles and the race is over or whatever it was, there'll be another one. And when they come down the hill and you're going up the hill, that closing speed is really, I think they go 30, 40 miles, maybe they even go faster than that. When they come downhill, it's scary. And I always have a thought, if you do have an interaction with a bicyclist, they're not wearing the kind of gear you're wearing. Even if everything else was equal, you're a lot safer than they are. But again, that's part of the sport, and we all live with it. So by the end of this day, I was humming that Queen song, "Bicycle Races." I don't know. I got to get that out of my head. I had never seen so many bikes in this area. That must have been an enormous race, or they were giving something away. Well, it was time to turn the big GS around, get back and see what Karen's doing, and I am assuming on the ride back there'll be no bicycles. They'll all be tired. These guys are in great shape too. We've talked to them on the top of Perkins, but it's amazing to me to be going 30, 40 miles an hour in your underwear. That doesn't do it for me. I like having the gear that I wear, and it's time to get back to the farm. No bikes were hurt. I'm ready for lunch on a beautiful fall day. What do we got for lunch? Bananas, I knew it. Well, we hit a beautiful fall day today. This just couldn't be nicer. Blue skies, little chilly temperatures real early, but it was a nice day. Just couldn't be nicer. This is the best time of year, and it couldn't be a better time of year to have a nice Gs1100. So I was real happy just to get home. Usually the ride home has been kind of miserable with the hot weather. It warms up today. It didn't warm up. We dealt with the bicycles, and we try to share the road and try not to, of course, even get too close to them. But it can be dangerous. There are some of the bicyclists that really get caught up in coming down the hills and getting close to that yellow line. And I hate to even think about a head-on collision with a bicycle going 30, 40 miles an hour and a guy in his underwear, or a girl, even worse. And I have seen some bicycle accidents where they have gotten chewed up like they got put into a wood chipper. So, hey, I'm just very careful. And I'm glad we got through the day. I know they want to enjoy their races, and we want to enjoy our rides and our friends and our track days and our everything. I want to enjoy it in my whole humble bike collection. I like to get out on the open road as often as possible. And today just turned out to be a spectacular day. So if you're in some part of the country where the weather's still too hot or too cold, right now we're at peak. We're at the best time of the year. And the best time of the year is when it's just cool enough to put full leathers on, get the gauntlet gloves out, and just enjoy the beautiful weather, because very soon we have that window of opportunity. Very soon it's going to get really cold, and we'll start thinning out the herd of people that ride into the really teeth of the winter. But for today, it was a great day. So if you enjoyed the video, I hope you share it with your friends. And of course, I hope, most of all, that we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks again for watching.